Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker, and we are going to be looking at a tea that is, as I checked today, it's not actually listed on the site yet. So it's an upcoming tea. Keep your eyes out for because it may be something that you want to check out. It's going to be a DongDing oolong. So I'll go ahead and tell you that that's what it is. And so this is kind of a sneak peek, a preview of it. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this tea, get it ready to go. Tea equipment. You often see what I have here. Very basic, very plain Jane. Of course, you can always just kind of upgrade. You can get more elaborate. But a couple of things that you need, and that's you need a tea kettle. You need some way to heat up your water. I like an electric tea kettle, something that's cordless. Something ideally, you'd want one that will bring your tea to a boil, and when the water comes to a boil, rather, it will automatically shut off. That's a very handy thing, especially if you're going to be stepping away from a kettle like this. There are, much more complicated ones that will allow you to adjust steeping temperatures to certain degrees based on if you want a green tea. It may raise the temperature up to say 180, 190, and shut off. Those are all bonuses or extras. I think it's very useful to have and be able to use a gaiwan, a traditional Chinese style of preparation that was the basis or the origin of the professional tea taster's cup. And that's a cup that's will hold about the same or very similar volume of water. It has a lid, it has a handle, and it's what professional tea tasters will often use. A bowl or cup for using. Generally choose something that's white on the inside, so it allows you to kind of look at the color of the liquor inside the cup. Something that is wide enough that you can smell easily. Something that will allow the aromas to rise up, and that will I prefer something that will cool quickly. Okay. Or cool and consistently as well. So a nice porcelain cup allows you to do that. Again, porcelain also doesn't interfere with the taste or the flavors of the tea as much. The other piece is the Gongbei, the fairness cup that I have here, and that is if you're going to be serving more than one serving, like to more than one person. It's great to have when you pour a tea. Often the tea at the bottom of your gaiwan or your serving vessel or steeping vessel is more intense, thicker, stronger liquor than compared to what's on the top. So by pouring it in here, you allow that to distribute evenly before serving it. So let's go ahead and get this tea ready to go. As we said, this is an oolong. The company is Naivetea, Taiwanese company. Most, if not, I'm trying to think, I don't remember recalling any tea of theirs that is not a Taiwanese tea. All Taiwanese. So what you're seeing here is I got my regular teaspoon, another component of the tea equipment, and I filled up a good spoonful there that it actually piled up pretty well. So what can be comfortably piled up onto a regular on the table use teaspoon, which is different from your kitchen measuring the instrument of a teaspoon. Our water's been brought to a boil and it's been cooling as I've been talking here, but it is still plenty warm enough for steeping this tea. Okay. DongDings and a lot of your Taiwanese oolongs, they can actually be cold brewed as well. So what you're doing is you're just modifying water temperature and leaf volume with the correct amount of time that you're doing that. So I'm going to cover that. I want to trap that heat in there. I've got enough water that's risen above the rim, and that's created a nice seal so that air doesn't get in and oxidize and change the color of the liquor inside. So while that's steeping, let's go ahead and talk about this tea and this company. Naivetea, I was able to meet, and I met him before actually, but I've been able to sit down and do a tasting with Lawrence of Naivetea. It was great because he's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of background in going to small sources, small tea sources, those individual farmers or those family farms, and finding those people who are putting a lot of handcraft, putting a lot of personal tradition and care into the teas. He's able to bring those and offer those on his website. Now, naivetea.com is the website. They do not currently have, as I was just saying, the DongDing available. It should be coming up. They're doing some upgrades and some improvements to their website. So this is something to keep an eye out for. It should be, when I talked with Lawrence, I got the impression that these teas would be on their site, and that site would be up and running by July, August. So we should be seeing that pretty soon. Let's talk about this dry leaf though. A couple of aromas coming off here. There is something kind of, almost kind of salty seaweed in this one. A little something also, but that was the first to notice. I'm also getting a little bit of something kind of floral. It's very subdued. It's a woody type of, like an English laurel, a shrub type of sweetness there. And yet that sweetness and that toasted element, there's a toasted element there. Yeah, there's a bit of a graham cracker type of smell. A little bit of sweetness, a little bit of that honey aspect. Again, blending over from the floral component I just mentioned. And again, that toasted element, that baked crackery type note as well. So I like that graham cracker element. I think that's a good descriptor for this one. You notice that the teas will come inside a handy tin, but inside that tin is a vacuum sealed bag that protects as well, so that after you break open or cut open the vacuum seal, you still have a tin to help protect that tea and keep it fresh. Looking at this leaf though, you'll notice that these are balled or rolled type of leaves here. Rich dark green, grayish green in color. So because these are DongDings are often go through a toasting, heating type of process there. So these are also balled. They're rolled quite compactly. You've got some pretty large sized balls like this one here, and that's going to give me a clue that this is probably more than one leaf combined together. So nice rich dark colors, a good amount of shimmer or sheen on these leaves, a good shine to them, indicating there's some oily gloss on these. The natural oils of the tea are there. Okay. So I wonder, that makes me wonder how long this tea would store. My indication is, my experience is it has more sheen and shine to it. It keeps very well. It keeps better than others. So let's see, we've had enough time that these leaves have, yes, they've unfurled quite nicely, really. So let's go ahead and get out our fairness pitcher, as it's often called. I'm going to angle my lid over to the side here and get ready to pour here. Just like so. You will want to practice. You will need to get some hands-on experience with using a gaiwan. It's probably, at first it will seem the most uncomfortable, but as you learn to use it, you will be able to get a lot of skill in teasing out that really optimal cup of tea for yourself. You'll get that experience. Gaiwans are great for that traditional Chinese, Taiwanese style of more leaf, shorter steepings, more frequent steepings. So you can re-steep multiple times and really draw out a lot by using a gaiwan. Okay. It's also great because you're going to be able to get a good whiff of the aroma this way. Okay, one, you are getting some roasted notes coming out, but actually they're quite subdued. What's coming out more again is that woody shrub English laurel type smell. So it's got a bit of a sweetness there. It's got a bit of a deep, woody, herby type of sweetness to it. Sappy type of sweetness, I guess you could also say. And those are the dominant notes. Okay. I did initially detect a little bit of a kind of, there was something just very faintly, a chemical smell that I could not put my finger on. That's not to say that I believe any chemicals were added to this. Actually, a lot of teas, especially by the small farmers, they use minimal amounts. They use minimal amounts of chemicals, and oftentimes they will use very close to organic practices. Although the expense of being organic certified is often more than the small farmers like these can endure, can bear that cost or pass on. So what you have here are leaves that are, here's a leaf that is, about 1.5 inches in length, still rich dark green, a little bit of a grayish color to it. The jagged edge, I should say, of the leaves indicate a bit of a dark brown tinge there. Okay, let's see if we can pull out sets here. Here's a set. These leaves have actually not completely unfurled because you have a leaf and another leaf here. They haven't fully unrolled because that was a larger roll and it took more heat and water for it to fully unfurl, and it hasn't done it yet. While a single leaf that was rolled by itself was more likely to unfurl easily. That one's actually a little bit ragged, jagged there. Let me pull out just one more here. What I'm noticing is that there is a bit of thickness. These are more mature leaves, but they tear pretty easily. They don't have a lot of resilience to them. Okay, they are they're fairly delicate. So, although, yeah, that one's tearing as well. They're not thick, tough leaves. They're still quite tender, quite fairly delicate. Say compared to like other oolongs, like a Da Hong Pao or some of your Chinese Fujian type of heavily oxidized, heavily roasted type of oolongs. Okay, now having looked at our wet leaf there, let's move on and talk a little bit about our color and our liquor. Color of our liquor. So this would be more correct. Nice amber color there, orange component to it, a little bit of an apple juice type of brownish orange there as well. So somewhere between apple juice and beer, with a little bit more amber to it. Now the aromas become more, again, that graham cracker component. It's toasty. It's got a little bit of that honey in it, and that's what's coming out here in this cup here, or this pitcher. So let's go to that pour and see what that is going to do. Again, there's this initial taste, and I still can't put my finger on it. It's got a bit of a potent type of perfume, type of rich fragrance, and it's not just one thing. It's not, and it's. Trying to keep that at the tip of my tongue because there's a lot going on. There's a lot more going on in the middle, and I want to find out what's happening there on the tip. Again, it's got a soft, kind of feathery, kind of viscous, lightly viscous feel that's really covering the tongue and the sides of the mouth. Again, it's got that graham cracker type of component to it. It does feel sweet and toasty, and that's the coating that's really covering the mouth. The aftertaste carries that through as well, so that it does continue to feel warm, toasty, and sweet. Again, a toasted type of sweetness there, a bit of a honey type of sweetness there as well. So it's got a bit of honey roasted. I think that perhaps that's what it is. It's an intense roasted or honey roasted aspect that. Come to think of it, it would be like the crust of a honey roasted ham. There's that bit of that fatty type of not disgusting fatty, but rich, oily type of note, rich, viscous type of feel there, and smell there, combined with the honey and the just the natural toasted heat element, crispy skin type of element there that can be on that honey roasted ham. So again, that's very positive. It carries through. I'm actually still getting that that sweet, woody type of taste and feel in the mouth. So the aftertaste is sustained. So we talked about the mouthfeel. We talked about the taste and the aroma. They blend and they fold and they just become one smooth, pleasant, sustained cup. And even compared to other DongDings, this one has just a lot more smoothness, a nice character, as we said. That it had that complexity, that taste of, first off, what was it? And it turned out, as I kind of felt through it, it was more of a kind of the crispy skin of like a honey glazed duck or a honey roasted ham. That was nice, and so that mouth feel of the little bit of the oiliness to it, a little bit of the fat, that coating was there in the mouth, not necessarily an oily taste, but the coating was there. We did have that kind of herby, or I should say, woody floral element. We talked about the shrub, the English laurel type shrub blossom there going as well. So looking at this tea as a whole, I looked at the leaves and thought, okay, these leaves at first made me suspicious. This wasn't going to be a very good cup, but that was the wet leaf. The dry leaf looked very fine, and then we got to the liquor, and it really showed what it was about. It does have a very fine, sustained sweetness. So looking at this tea as a whole, I got to give this tea a high score. I've got to give this tea, a 91. I think it's just something worth trying. Kudos to Lawrence and the team at Naivetea for going out, finding the farmers, the people, and the traditions that really made this tea into what it is. And we thank them for bringing it to us here at Walker Tea Review and making it available to all of us together. So come back and join us. We're going to be doing something a little bit different next time. Tea that you don't usually even lay my hands on or really talk about much here at Walker Tea Review.